Monday. I hope you're having a great Monday. I'm glad to see y'all today. We are going to make a Santa. We're going to be using this oats container to make our Santa and our paper mache boots that are available at celebrationtiffany.com. And a couple of other things. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to go. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear and hope to make a Santa that is freestanding and super duper cute. All right, so that's the goal. So we'll see what happens and how it turns out. I have got all kinds of different things laid out here that I might need. I've got lots of different fabrics. I have a styrofoam ball. I've got a styrofoam tree form. I've got some cardboard forms. Or cardboard rolls. I've got all kinds of different things. So we're just going to play this by ear, kind of play with it, see what happens. And the idea is that we end up with a Santa that is freestanding, okay, that's standing on its own. So this is kind of a little bit of the concept, okay? So we'll see what happens. When you hop on, say hey, let me know you're watching. Today we have 15% off the Santa shoes and the Santa buckles. All right, so 15% off these and 15% off of these, the Santa buckles. These are 99 cents for the set of 3. These right here are $7.99 for the set of 2. Okay. All right, let's see who we've got joining me. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Cindy. Thanks for celebrating, Michelle. I'm glad you're here, Stacy. You found me. Hi, Nancy. Happy Monday. Hey, Wanda. Good afternoon. Hi, Rhonda. Good to see you today. Hope everyone's having a great day so far. I'm excited to see how this Santa turns out. We might not get done with this today because we do have to do our reveal at 4 o'clock. And I'm just assuming this is going to take a little while. I'm not really 100% sure. But since I don't really know what I'm doing, it could take a little while. So we're just going to have to kind of see where it goes, okay? Hi, Teresa. Good to see you. So we're going to start. I'm going to move all of this stuff aside. And we're going to start with our boots and go ahead and get those made. I'm going to go on and move all of this fabric aside. I've got all kinds of different fabrics here that I might be using. Happy Monday, Kay. So we're going to start, though, with our shoes. I know that these need to be painted black, so we're going to start there. That's pretty easy. Starting point. So I'm just going to get my black paint. And we'll get a coat of paint on these. Probably will only need one coat, maybe a little touch up after that. Good morning, Barbara. Thank you. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. Debbie's getting her things together for her snowman. I'm glad to hear it. Happy Monday, Kay. Thanks for sprinkling. Hey, Jezelyn. Hi, Pam. Hello, Teresa and Linda and Patty and Christine and Carol and Barbara. I'm glad to see all of y'all today. Okay, I'm going to have to come out of the sweater, so hang on just a second. I'm getting warm already. Okay. So let's get a coat of black paint on our little boots here. So these are $7.99 and they are 15% off today. Along with the buckles, they are 15% off as well. Super easy because painting paper mache with black is incredibly satisfying and very easy to do. I just think these boots are so cute. They're going to be adorable for the Santa. And we'll probably add some things to the boots later. But for now, we're just going to get them painted and then start getting our Santa put together. And then we can add whatever kind of embellishments we want or any kind of distressing or anything like that that we might want to do on the boots. Because I'm sure I'm going to want to do some kind of distressing. But I want to get the Santa kind of built and then go from there. I don't know if that's the right move or not, but we're going to figure it out. Look how cute these are, pink and black. I mean, look at that. Is that not just adorable? Okay. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Hey, Chrissy. All right, so I'm going to paint the top here and then move on to the other one. All right, there we go. That one's done. Look how cute. Okay, let's do this one now. Thanks for sprinkling, Cindy. Yes, Pam, they sure are. They're 15% off today. And these are going to be the base of our Santa. So, of course, you could use these for so many other things. You could use these to make ornaments, do like a little decorative piece. But we are going to use these for a Santa today. Ria, thank you so much for doing that. Laura, you know me. I never wear an apron. I am trying to be very careful not to splatter it on me. That's what I did the other day, wearing a black shirt. And I got splatters all over it, so. All right. So just want to get top of this painted. I don't really think it's necessary to paint the inside because I don't think you're going to see it. All right, there we go. So we got our boots painted. I'm setting them aside, but I think actually I'm going to go ahead and dry them. Actually, I think I want to use them right away. So Let me get my heat tool. They look so good. Painted black. Okay. There we go. So we've got our boots. Aren't those so cute? Okay, so let's figure out our legs. I have got this piece of cardboard roll that was from like a piece of wrapping paper. I'm going to cut it in half because I need 2 pieces. So I'm going to use my utility knife. Hey, Cheryl, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I guess I could measure it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. About right here. Okay, so we've got our 2 halves. We've got to make some pants. These are going to go right inside our little shoes, and they're going to act as the legs, okay? And then we've got to do pants. Does it matter which way they go? I don't know if it matters. All right, so for the pants, I think I'm going to use this plaid. I want to do something a little bit different. And so I think I'm going to use this plaid. So let's cut some fabric here. I'm going to measure this. And I'm going to make them about 5 inches long, 6 inches long, about 6 inches long. So I'm going to go a little bit more just to give me some extra. And I'm just going to tear it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go, let's go 7 just to give ourselves some extra. Okay, and then this is just going to wrap around, and it doesn't have to be tight or anything. So this is, let's measure that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. Let's go a little bit more. Let's go 8 inches. And so then let's do the other one, same way. So I'm just going to take this, lay it right on top. Okay. There we go. Then let's add some fur to the bottom of the pant. So I have either this one here, which is kind of like a fleece, and then I've got this, which is like a chenille. And I think I'm going to go with this chenille for, we can do one of 2 things. So we can use this for the beard, and we can do the chenille for the hat brim and the detail on the coat and the pants, or we can do this as the detail on the coat and the pants and this as the beard. What do y'all think? Or we can do all of one of them. I'm leaning towards the chenille for the trim. So we're gonna do that, I think. So I'm just gonna cut this to the same width. This is a chenille that we sold on the website at one point. We do not currently have any chenille except for the blue, I think. All right, and because we are using the chenille, I don't want a raw edge for this. So I'm gonna cut this piece in half and we're gonna just kind of hem it. So I'm gonna use my hot glue gun. And I'm just gonna fold this over to create a nice edge. Okay. I'm gonna trim this excess because I ended up cutting it, making it a little bit smaller probably than what I needed the fabric for. Okay. So here's our trim. Oh, nice, Dana. Okay, and we're gonna glue this right to the bottom of this piece of fabric. And I'm just using my hot glue gun on high. Works best that way when you're using the hot glue on the fabrics. So look how cute that is for the pant. I think that's gonna be cute. All right, so let's do this one. I agree. I think the chenille does give a more vintage look about it. Just make sure we're getting them about the same size. Okay. Let's glue this. Alrighty. Okay, so we've got our pants ready. So I just gotta decide. Okay, I think I want it to be right at the top of the boot. All right, and I'm just gonna glue. I'm just gonna kind of overlap it slightly and just glue it together like this. Okay. So I'm just going to take my hot glue and just run it right on the edge here. And then just fold this over. And of course, we'll make the seam go to the back. Oh, thank you, Teresa. I'm so glad to hear that you think so. All right, I'm going to glue this where this has been folded over. I'm just going to glue that down. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to take and add some hot glue around the edge of the cardboard roll to keep this from moving. It's not pushed all the way down because I wanted a little bit more height. So I'm just going to take and run hot glue right along the seam there to hold that in. Let's do this side. I'm just going to make sure that they are the same height. And we'll almost like a little bit of caulk or something. Okay. All right, let's do this one here. All right, so just fold that over a little bit and then just add your hot glue right on the edge. And then fold this over. Just make sure you don't glue it to the other side. Yes, Sandy, it's the piece that you were missing from the DIY decor box. Okay. So let's slide this on. Just like that. All right, and look at that, how cute. We've got our legs are done, and I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with the top, so I'm just gonna kind of leave that for now, and we're gonna move on to the body, okay? Yes, Robin, I did not know that though. I hadn't heard anything about that, but yes, we are good here. Okay, so this is going to be the body, of course, but I've got to decide how I'm going to do this exactly, okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is wrap this in my fabric because this is, yeah, bud. Baby, you can probably do it, but yeah, you can wait, but I'm going to be a little while. It's going to be at least another hour before I'm done. Huh? I don't think so. One's enough. Well, I get that, but one's enough. You can have something else. Okay. So let's take this fabric. Let me get another piece. I think I'm going to stick with the plaid. And what I don't know is if I need to cut this down any. So I may need to make it shorter. It might be too tall, but I don't want to make that decision yet. I'm making sure that I cut this fabric a little bit wider than what I need it to be. Because I want to be able to fold it over. So we're just going to take and add some hot glue. And then just adhere that. Wrap that around. Let's trim the excess. Okay, and we'll add more glue. It's a very messy line there. Okay. Okay, so just like that, essentially. You just got to kind of figure this out, figure out how we're going to do this. I feel like it's probably too tall, because what I'm thinking is that this could be the body, and then we could either do a styrofoam ball for the head, or I think what's going to be better is to take this and use it for part of the head. So I'm thinking that this needs to be cut down, actually. So I'm going to take this lid off. Let's just peel this back a little bit. I kind of didn't glue it all the way up. Figured we could just pull it back. I'm just going to take and cut. And I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm cutting about 2 inches off. Okay, let's see what this does. Hey, Tina. Okay, I gotta turn this around. Look at it from this side. Okay, I think it needs to be a little bit shorter. So let's cut off another inch or so. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom, I think. I'm just going to take hot glue. Oh, gosh. Just slipped off my shoe. I'm just going to take hot glue and go all the way around, and then just kind of grab it and just pull this all in. I know, Cindy. I actually had to go buy oatmeal in order to do this. I just had to empty the oatmeal out because I did not have a box to use. All right, I'm just taking and going around to just kind of get all this fabric laid down. Okay. All right. And then I think we'll do the same thing for this, except I think I'm going to trim this a little bit because it's a little bit too long. So altogether, we cut off about 3 inches of it. Okay. All right, so let's glue all this down now. Okay. All right, so there we go. All right, let's see here. Let's put this on the legs. Let's see how that looks. What do y'all think? Does that look about right proportionally? I think that's gonna work. So we've got to figure out how to attach it. Before we do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and add the details to the body. So we're gonna take our chenille and we'll do the same thing that we did for the feet. So I need a longer piece that'll wrap all the way around. I'm just going to cut a piece out. Okay. All right, so this, again, we're just going to fold this over so we've got a nice clean edge. Okay, same thing on the other side. And I'm trying to make it about the same size that I did the trim on the legs or on the pants. Okay, just like that. And we're just going to glue this to the bottom of our little canister here. And I think I'm going to let it overhang just slightly. It's going to help to hide any imperfections. Okay, and once we get around to the back side, I'm just going to trim off the excess. go. I'm making sure all of my seams are in the back as well. Okay, so we've got that. We're starting to come together, y'all. Okay, so then we need a piece that goes right down the middle. So same thing. Okay. A little bit of hot glue, fold over the edges so we can make it nice and clean. All right. Carol, the boots are on thecelebrationcompany.com and they are 15% off today. Okay, so I want to make sure that the seam is in the back and I apply this right in the front. And I'm going to just kind of very gently kind of flip under this edge so that I can have sort of a, so that it's not a rough, raw edge there. And then we'll hot glue this on. Okay. And I'm just going to add this, glue that right to the top. All right. So there we go. There's our Santa body ready to be glued to the legs. I think it's looking good, don't y'all? It's coming together. Okay, we're gonna still wait though before we adhere those. Because I think it's gonna be easier to do the head while the feet are not attached. All right, so we gotta do the face and the beard and all of that now. And so I'm thinking that this is gonna be the best option, is to use the styrofoam tree. So what we're gonna do is cut it off because we're not gonna use like, you know, this entire thing. This is a bit excessive. So I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it off about right here, about 3 or 4 inches from the bottom. So I'm just going to use a serrated knife. And I'm going about 4 inches. Okay. All right. So this is the part I'm really not 100% sure on. So we're just going to have to see what happens. So I've got some fabric here. I've got this fabric here, which is like this sort of skin color. And so I think I'm going to use it for the face. So we're just going to cover, I think we're just going to cover this in this fabric here, okay? Or try to, at least. So I'm just going to add some glue. And then I'm just going to wrap this. Okay, and we'll add more glue. And then I'm just going to snip off the excess. I'm leaving a little extra on the top and the bottom, and I'm just going to fold it over like we did with the other pieces. Okay, so we've got that. We'll just fold this over. A little bit of hot glue. Might have to get out some more glue sticks. Going through a lot of them. Just wrap that around the bottom. Okay. Thank you, Lynn. All right. So then the idea is that this is going to sit right on here. All right. So let's do a beard next. We're just going to kind of see what happens here. Okay. So for the beard, I feel like I want to try to use the chenille. I'm not 100% sure. I think what I'm going to do I think I'm going to take a piece of paper or a piece of chipboard. Maybe I'll use this, a piece of cardstock. And let me fold this in half. Thank you, Tammy. And let's see if I can draw a beard. Half of one. So I'm trying to like keep in mind the size that we have here to work with. Okay, let's cut this out. Let's see if this is going to be too big or how this is going to look. Okay, that looks like a pretty good beard. Let's see how this fits. Okay, I think it fits pretty good. All right, I think that's gonna work. Okay, let's see if this will fit our chenille. Or if it's too, oh my goodness, it's perfect. Okay. It's just perfect. The only problem is that I can't, let's see if I turn it this way. I'm thinking about the raw edge and trying to avoid the raw edge. But this is all I've got. So it really doesn't matter which way I put it. I could just bring it up a little bit. Let's do that. Okay. So I think I'm gonna fold this, flip this over, and I think I'm gonna just glue this right onto the back of the chenille. So let me just take my glue and I'm just gonna just plop that onto the back. Okay, and then let's cut this out. And I'm gonna leave myself some extra space all the way around. And then I'm hoping to just kind of fold it over the cardstock so that we don't have a raw edge. Okay, like this. So now I'll just take my hot glue gun and I'm just gonna add around the edge and then I'll just fold this over. Okay, and then around this part, not 100% sure how this is going to go. I think I need to make some slits in order to make that work. Okay. Okay, so there's our beard. That looks good. All right, let's see what this looks like. Okay, we're getting somewhere, I think. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, let's do a mustache. I'm trying to decide, should I do the mustache in the same chenille or should the mustache be in fur? Because I have some fur, but it's this fur. So should the mustache be something different or should it be the same thing? So let's see here. The mustache. Let me see if I can make a mustache. Okay, Marissa says the same. Okay, here's the mustache. I think it needs to come in just a little bit. Okay, I think that'll work. So let's grab, we'll just do the same thing. Let's glue this on. Thank you, Dorothy. Okay, let's cut this out. Yes, it does, Dana. All right, hot glue. Let's just fold this around. not know what my kid's doing up there. Okay. All right, so I've got to figure out these ends. So if I can't fold those under. Okay. So here's our mustache. I think that looks pretty good. And to decide which way I think it should go, because one side looks a little bit, I think it should go like that. Okay, I'm going to go on and glue this directly to the beard. Okay, so there's our beard and our mustache. All right. So I want to go on and do the hat before I move on to gluing all this together, because I just want to make sure that this head is going to be right. And I'm not 100% sure just yet. Yes, it starts next month, Patty. I'm just a little bit worried about this back part here. So I'm not really sure about that. So let's make the hat. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do the same fabric or do I want to do something else. But I'm kind of leaning to the same fabric for the hat. So let's take our head and let's just kind of wrap around like this to make a cone-like shape. Okay, I'm going to take permanent marker because I've got one. I think that's going to be the easiest way, and I'm just going to kind of mark like this. Okay, so that I know where to cut. Patty, he's going to be in the 5th grade. So hard to believe. So we've got kind of this little quarter of a circle shape here. Let's put this down like this. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue just right here so that I know where it needs to come together at. Okay. And then we'll just glue the rest of this. Go. Yeah, bud.
I had to throw away my sandwich.
Why?
I accidentally put too much mayonnaise on it.
What are you up there banging on?
The mayonnaise jar, couldn't get any out.
Why didn't you just scoop some of it off?
I tried. Way too much. Did you fix it? You done?
Yes, I guess. Why didn't you just take the bacon off, bud? You just wasted bacon.
Bacon had mayonnaise on it.
Well, There's surely a way it could have been salvaged. Okay. Griffin just wasted bacon and lettuce and bread because he apparently put too much mayonnaise on his BLT. So he just threw the whole sandwich away. All right. Let's put the brim onto the hat. What I'm wanting to see is how this does on the hat or on the head. I'm just curious, like, how this is gonna work and how this is all gonna look. So I like the hat. I am worried about the head. It might need to be shorter, possibly. See, this is what it looks like, which is fine. It's looking okay from the front. My issue is from the side where it shows the skin. And I don't know for sure what I should do about that. So that's where my issue is right now. Let me try. I've got a styrofoam ball here that's a half. Let's see what that would look like instead of, or possibly if we add, see, the hat's got to go over the beard. Trying to work all this out in my head. I thought about that, but then I thought, is that gonna look funky? To have the chenille. It's just a little bit odd to me. Hold on. Let me just think for a minute. Hmm. I'm really processing here, y'all can tell. I can have to where it hangs down pretty far. But you're still going to see some of it. Do I need to make it shorter? That might be a solution. That might help. Let's see. If we make this shorter, so let me pull this fabric off. Okay, let me cut this down a little bit more. Okay, let's try this. See what we get now. That is very true, Carolyn. Okay. Let's see how this does. I also thought about shaving some of the top off, which I still may end up having to do. Like across this way so that it's not such a harsh line there. Okay, where is my beard? Here it is. Okay, I feel like the height looks better. My hope is that I can cover up a lot of the back of this with the hat. You know? Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm going to take this back off and peel this back down. I think we need to shave some of this off. It's like you don't quite need a circle, or half a circle. It's an odd shape that we need here. So I'm going in on the corner and just kind of cutting and shaving this top corner off so that it's less harsh. Like that. Okay. Let's just kind of get an idea of how this looks. You know what? I just had an idea to make my life a little bit easier. Sometimes you gotta think smarter, not harder, right? Yeah, it might make a difference think it'll help for sure. I think we're getting somewhere. I can spread the beard out a little bit more. I'm able to get the hat all the way down to the back. And we can spread the beard out a little bit more. It's going to cover up a lot of it. So let's go with it. I think we're on the right track. Okay. So let's cover or glue the top down. Again. More hot glue. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is what we ended up with. Kind of an odd shape there, but I'm going to go on and glue this to the body. So we're just going to use our hot glue for that. Just going to add the glue right to the bottom. Quite a bit. Again, I'm making sure that seam is in the back. Glue that on. Okay. And then let's take our beard and we'll glue it on, and I'm just going to spread it apart a little bit. And we're going to glue it directly to the face. So I'm going to put my glue right up here. Like that. Okay. I gotta get more hot glue sticks. Going through a ton of them. Of course, right now I'm using the short ones. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of hot glue right here where this mustache is and glue it to the face as well. Okay. Go. All right, so there's our beard. Okay, let's work on this hat. So let's again make the trim for the hat using the same chenille. That should be right. Okay. All right, fold this up. Thank you, Patricia. All right, and then again, All right, so we've got our brim for our hat. Let's go ahead and glue it on. And I'm gonna let it hang down just a little bit. And again, making sure that I've got my seam in the back. I have to take a lint roller to this thing here in a little bit. Okay. Go. I'm gonna trim that. Okay. Our hat is just about done. Let me glue these ends together. Thank you, Sandy. That's so sweet. All right. Okay. So, here we go. Let's put this on, see how this is going to look. And I'll probably stuff this just a little bit, the hat. I want to make sure we cover the top of the beard. It's going to be super cute from the front. The side is like a little, I don't know, a little iffy. But it's going to be really cute from the front. That's all that matters, isn't it? Okay. So the hat, what I'm going to do for the top of it is tie this together with something. Let me find a piece of twine or something. I just want to tie this up tight so that it kind of comes to more of a point. All right, I'm going to cut the ends off of that, and I'm going to cut that off. And then I have got 2 wool balls. I got to decide which one I want. We can either do the white, which I think is what I'm going for, or the red. I think I'm definitely going for the white. And what I'm going to do is take a knife. It's probably the better idea. And we're just going to start cutting a slit in this. So we kind of open this up a little bit and we create a little slit, and then we can push the end of our hat inside that slit and conceal that. So this is just a big wool ball. I'm just using my finger to just kind of make that a big enough hole. Okay. I'm going to add my hot glue inside and then just press the end of the hat right inside that little ball. Just like that. Okay. take that off. Look how cute our hat is. Okay, we need some batting. We're almost there. I don't know how long I've been live. An hour and 15 minutes. Not too bad. Okay. Let me grab some batting. Don't really know how much I need. Really just want to give it something kind of like that in the base of it to give it some structure. So I think that's good right there. I'm not going to add any hair. I'm going to just go with it like this. All right, and so now I've got to do hot glue. So I'm going to add hot glue up here on the top. We're going to start there. On top of the beard, I'm again making sure that I've got my seam in the back. And we'll get the front glued on. Because we know we have to cover all of that up. And then we can pull it down the back and glue it in the back as far down as we can get it. Y'all, we still got to do the arms. All right, and then bring it down the side some. Okay. All right. We are getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, you gotta still do the arms. Okay. Let's do the arms next. And we still have to do the face and we have to do embellishments, but we're getting there. Let me just show y'all how it's looking so far. Like I said, I don't know if we'll be able to complete it today. But this is how it's coming together. It's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. What do y'all think? He's looking cute. Cute, cute. Okay, let's do arms. So here's what I'm thinking for the arms. We're going to start with our red fabric, of course. And we're going to make some little tubes like we did with the legs. But this time, the tubes are going to be a little smaller. Let me see if this will work. I think it will. Okay. I'm just sort of eyeballing this. Hi, Lisa. Y'all, don't forget at 4 p.m. I'm going to be live again, and we're going to do our DIY decor box reveal where I'll be giving away 6 prizes, and everyone will get a package of sewing patterns, vintage sewing patterns, a Celebration Company magnet for Christmas, and some earrings. Trying to find. Thought I had a set that was out. but these gold earrings. So 6 people will get this, okay? That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. All right, let me tear this other piece. Okay. So we're just going to make our tubes again, like we did for the arms, or for the legs, I mean. Oops, daisies. That's not what I want. Just glue this together. Okay, so we've got our little tube like that. Let's do this one too. Same way. Okay. Now we are going to stuff these with some batting. A little bit more. Okay. There we go. The top, we're just going to close it together with some hot glue. So I'm just going to add hot glue right inside. And then we're just going to smush this together like that. Right. Let's do our other one. And I'm leaving a little bit of space in the bottom. Okay. We're going to add some mittens. The main part of the body is a oats container, Sharon. And then the head is the bottom of a styrofoam tree. I'm sure there's other things you could find to use. And so that's where we're at with it. And of course, we have some embellishing to do for sure. Okay, let's get some glue and we're just going to squeeze this shut at the top. Okay, let's see about how this is looking. All right, I think that's going to be about right. Looks about right to me. All right, we've got to do some mittens. I'm going to use this black fabric that I have that's got these little white or red flowers. I'm just going to tear a piece out, make it a little easier. I'm going to make some mittens. Okay. I'm going to use a piece of cardstock again. And let me draw a mitten. Where is the little pencil I'm using? Here it is. I don't know if I can draw a mitten. Let's just see here. I want to make it a little bit wider just because I'm going to be probably stuffing it. So I'm going with that. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. I'm going to try to make it wider because once I stuff it, then it's going to naturally get smaller. Okay, let's try that. So this is our little template here. Okay. Nice wide. All right. I'm gonna fold this a couple of times and I'm assuming this is going to work, but I really don't know for sure. So we're gonna just see. I'm assuming the pieces are gonna be turned the right ways. I think it's going to be. I don't really know. All right, so let's cut this out. Okay. There we go. Santa. Don't especially like that. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Okay, that looks good for now. Okay, so those pieces go together and those pieces go together. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna just use my hot glue. You know how I hate to sew. You could certainly sew this, but why would you? All right, I'm gonna use the hot glue and just go right around the edges. I'm trying to keep it pretty thin around the edge, but you know, it is what it is. Okay. So once we're glued all the way around the edge, we're going to stuff this, hopefully. Where's that batting at? Right here. So stuff it with little bits of batting. Looks like I didn't get it glued real well right there. Hey, Elizabeth. Worst part's trying to get it stuffed. All right. Say that's probably pretty good. There's our cute little mitten. I'm just going to glue the end together. So I'm just going to take a little hot glue and then just squeeze that and glue that together like that. So there's our little mitten. So then this is going to go inside and we're going to glue it down like that for our little little hand. So I'm just going to push that batting in there. I'm going to stick some hot glue on both sides of the mitten. Place it in there and then glue that down. Okay, so there we have it. We might have an arm that's too long, I'm not sure. I think we do. I think I'm gonna have to trim that. We'll see. But we can easily trim that, no big deal. All right, I'm gonna finish these arms and then I'm gonna call it quits. And we will finish this tomorrow or Wednesday. Because I still gotta get a few more things done before I go live again at 4. So I did not think that we would finish today. Okay. A little bit more. All right. Yes, we are doing our Table Talk Tuesday tomorrow. That is the plan, at least. So as long as everything goes well, we should be able to. Okay. Hi, Cammie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, a little bit more batting, and we should be good. Oh, you're welcome, Teresa. Okay. All right, there we go. So let's just glue this together. A little bit of hot glue. And then we'll just squeeze this together at the base. All right. And then let's push that in. Okay, I'm going to do hot glue on both sides of the mitten. And then we're going to stick that in and squeeze that shut. Okay. All right, so here's our arms. They look cute. So I think that I do need to shorten this. So I'm just going to take my fabric scissors and I'm just going to cut some of that off, and then we'll just either remove or push down in so that we can glue this back. Okay, I think that's going to work. Okay. There we go. You want to make sure too your mittens are going the right way. All right. So here's what it looks like with the arms. That's cute. All right, y'all. I'm gonna call it quits for now. We'll probably add, some chenille around the arms, of course. So we've still got lots to do. We've still got to do the face. We've got to attach the legs, and we've got to do all of the embellishing. But we've come a long way in the last hour and a half. We've essentially got all of the base made. So our little Santa is coming together. Here's what he's looking like. So I think he's looking really good. I'm really liking him, and I cannot wait to finish embellishing him and really bringing him to life. So I think he's going to be cute when he's all finished. So still got a ways to go. Still going to keep working on him in a couple of days. But for now, we're going to pause. Don't forget, I will see you again at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for our DIY decor box reveal. Excited to share this box with you all. I will be giving away 6 prizes. You've got to be present during my live in order to have a chance at winning. All right, y'all. I'm going to get all this mess cleaned up, get a few things done, and I'll see y'all back here in an hour. Love you guys. Bye.